Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suited for all audiences. As of now, viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, how's it going? This is John Mooring once again, playing Amnesia. Part 14, I believe we're on. I'm still kind of shocked I made it this far. Without anybody killing my channel. But anyway, we just discovered in the last episode where Agrippa was, the man mentioned throughout the game so far in notes and everything. We're getting close to the end. I will say this. Right now our objective is to shut the hell up, I'm talking. But yeah, we're supposed to be collecting pieces of the old orb that was broken by Agrippa, or is it our orb? I don't remember which. There are two orbs now. We're going to find the pieces to one, put it back together so we can stop the Baron. So, going into the transept. Okay, so...
How much more, Baron? How much more am I supposed to withstand? Kill me already! Kill me!
This one. Prepare him.
Okay. Alchemic diagrams. Definitely something ritualistic or trying to transmute something. Let's go in this room first. Well, to quote a fictional character, if you see rats, there's nothing to fear. It's when you don't see them that you should worry. Especially in a setup like this. I like that knife though. I want that. The kidnapper sat on her knees with her hands tied behind her back. She felt her hands being lifted and her body followed. Her shoulders gave way to the weight of her own body and cracked loudly. The suspended woman cried hysterically as the men contemplated their next step. It's just... it's getting a little harder to control with him hysterical like this. There's one piece. Let's keep going. Easy, easy. Alright.
Let me go!
Sorry, just need a little bit of oil.
The cradle is ready.
Good.
You're a man! How can you partake in this?
Is he all right?
He is one of the wicked. Don't pay his lies any attention.
I'm not a bad man! It was an accident!
He set a man on fire.
It wasn't my fault! Why won't anyone listen?
That's horrible.
Of course. We are dealing with monsters here.
At what point does the torturer of monsters become one himself or herself? Or whatever gender in question here. Oh god. You could just imagine what they use this for. I think there's an image of it somewhere. No? Okay.
Please! Do anything! Whatever you want! Anything! I'll do anything! I'm innocent!
The arsonist kept crying as he was slowly lowered on and off the impaler. It didn't take much to break him. They had meant for him to die, but the torture was working beyond their expectations. It wasn't the method, he was the arsonist. He was different from the others. They could take him, they could make him forget again. My question is, why put the pieces of the orb inside the chambers where they tortured people? To absorb their energy being tortured? I don't know. I didn't notice you before. Are you still alive? No? Shoot. Okay. Yep. That's a thing. The rapist hanged upside down, his tears soiled with blood flowing from his belly. They saw between his legs had lodges itself into his hip and wouldn't move any further. The men stepped back and waited for the victim to drain. Oh, there's the saw. Pretty ominous when you look at context. There's all this rope here. Why can't I use that? Alright, another piece of the orb down. Spiral stairs. There are quite a few things to be said about torture. I had figured that the reason I would get the victims would be for highly individual. Can't talk today. Sorry. Thankfully, this is not the case. The humans all have a very similar approach to dealing with physical pain and the terror of anticipation. He's not wrong. I can't stress enough the importance of restraining the victims before proceeding. Even the most timid creatures can break out in fits of violence, where their strength exceeds their expected prowess. If proper care has been put into breaking the victim, this should not be a problem, but it will also hinder the effect I am after. The right steps to take are, therefore, to restrain while the victim is still dazed, proceed by presenting the form of torture you are about to apply, and then continue with the actual act. The point of presentation is to infuse terror. The human mind is extremely efficient, as it will trigger itself into greater fear simply by imagining it. While applying pain, make sure to avoid massive damage, as it will prove more efficient if the process can be sustained. Also, apply the pain in doses, if possible with breaks to let the body settle. If you are whipping or cutting the victim, strike once, wait for the pain to subdue, then strike again. As long as the body suffers, it will continue to produce the vita and saturate the blood with its properties. Only with the careful performance will the victim yield maximum effect. If the victim doesn't behave as expected, it is likely that all will be for naught. Before this happens, feed them the amnesia drink and try again later. Same stuff that Daniel took to forget. Same substance that kind of put us in this predicament. Is it you, my love, I miss the most, or perhaps myself? I know what I have become. I am not blind. I am a monster to them. A demonic sultan perched on a dark mountaintop. There is little I can do to redeem myself. The Black Eagle fears me, and after Napoleon's defeat, it is only a matter of time before they will demand my head on a platter. I must remove myself from this land. This time, it must work. If I can return home now, I shall perish. If I can't return home now. Alright. The only reason I'm doing this is because I know I'm going to need it. At some point, I'm going to need this. Otherwise, I would let well enough alone. That's pretty ominous, but I'll take it. Alright, so that was the last room over here. Back to the nave. You know what? I'm gonna grab that if I can. I mentioned earlier that this thing's going to be important. So I'm just gonna get the ingredient now while I can. That way I don't have to backtrack later. But I will explain at a later time why I need that
There's
stuff.
something else.
No,
You seem to have found all the ore pieces used in the transfer. Go to the choir and find the rest.
Alright, yeah, one last room and then I'll call it quits. And candle. Drugs. Doesn't want to break. I'll read the note in a second. I just want to ransack this place first. Because ransacking is amazing. Well, virtually anyways. Doing it in real life, it's a pain in the ass. I mean, I wouldn't know from first-hand experience or anything. Kidding, kidding. In court, the Order of the Black Eagle spewed their politics at each other while I sat quietly in place, willfully forgotten. Once in a while, someone will notice me and lose themselves in silence, cower before regaining their senses. They will know I am the one and the same Alexander who helped their fathers and grandfathers to found their great order. I've seen them take their fathers' places, and they too will grow old and pass away, while I remain the same, aged not by time, but by anguish. So really, this whole entire time, those things were the story of Alexander. Ish. Ware taunts me from the other side. I trusted him with my true reason for my efforts, and still he insists on me releasing Agrippa. How an enlightened man can show such lack of compassion in a seat of power disgusts me. I can't bring myself to part from Agrippa, as he is and has been for centuries my only link to the worlds beyond. Ware claims he tries his best to release me from my banishment, but that he needs to he needs me to give him Agrippa first so he too can help. If he could guarantee success, I would happily oblige, but how am I to part from him if my return might be denied? I know what they are capable of. I've seen their deception. Optimism is most hopeless is a most hopeless feeling, but I must retain it. I shall prepare for his release. To release Agrippa without killing him, Ware told me to feed him a tonic made from a paralyzer, virtue, and tempter. The poisonous fungi should work as a paralyzer if I can find the internal gland from a large specimen. The choir seems to be a fertile grounds for this sort. I should then be able to extract its contents with the proper tools. The Vartu Vital could be extracted as usual from the agonizing human blood. I just need large amounts to distill it properly. Remember to collect this during the next torture session. tempt her, on the other hand, will prove more difficult. I don't think it exists in this world. Simply writing the word with these letters looks wrong. I believe it's a property of the secretion in the water dweller Karnak. I will have to address Ware with this, as he will have to supply me with a host. Also, a properly prepared well should suffice to contain it. So now you kind of know why I picked that stuff up when I did. I don't want to go back trancing all the way back to kind of figure out the little thing to help Agrippa. Now that I have the ingredients, now that I have 3 pieces of the orb, I'm going to go into the choir and get the other orbs along with the last ingredient to help Agrippa. So I'm going to call it a part right here. Little update, more and more people seem to be flooding in with ideas and everything I should do. I will sort them out accordingly. I will talk to everybody I can. And I do appreciate the ideas. Please don't get me wrong. Some of them have been a little bit out there. You know who suggested it. But as always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in to my little spiel every day. And Twitter is finally set up. I will put a link for it in the description. It is at @officialjboring, if you want to search for it that way. Until next time, y'all have a nice day. Take it easy.